grifters, we 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 grifters.
Shape the emerging UAP narrative. Remember those words, folks. Shape the emerging UAP narrative. Remember those words, folks.
I'm an intel guy. 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 I'm an intel guy.
We grifters, 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 we grifters.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
We grifters, we grifters.
Remember those words.
We grifters, we grifters.
Remember those words.
We grifters, we grifters.
Yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Yes. Yes.
Luis Elizondo.
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 Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are here tonight to bust another grift. Imagine that. Recently, a lot of less than scrupulous people started to make very, very bold claims of a conspiratorial nature about the James Webb telescope. Now, myself being sort of a fan of all things space, I knew that this story is completely and totally fake, and pretty confident of why the story was fake. But I wanted to be sure, so I've consulted with Ron from Cosmic Neighbors, who you may remember quite some time ago being a guest here several times. Ron is a real expert in NASA and in our capabilities as far as our available imagery and space photography. You may have seen him on Twitter live broadcasting things like asteroid trackers, satellite trackers, and his channel, he would talk about different space missions, including the privatized ones. He is a fountain of knowledge. So I wanted to check in with him. What are the odds that the Grift Squad is actually onto something, or is this just a complete and total bullshit conspiracy? And you can guess where we're going with this. But he has the receipts, and we can show you why all the people pushing this narrative. And by the way, do you know who's pushing it? The grifters. Patrick from Vet It, who vets nothing. Why is your show called Vet It? You didn't vet this? 20 minutes of Google searching and educating yourself on the James Webb telescope could have told you that this story is completely and totally fake. But he platformed it anyway, just like he platformed the alien interview hoax, just like he platformed the UFO diorama hoax, and so many other hoaxes. He's a big supporter of all things fake, including Jeremy Corbell and all of that other nonsense. And then, of course, we've got my favorite UFO grifter, Ross Coulthard, pushing this conspiracy theory. Then we've got Matt Ford from the Good Propaganda Show. All these people have been wrong about everything, and we've been right. And tonight we'll be right again. So what we want to do is bring in our expert, and we're going to have a great discussion, I think, tonight about how we know that these things are a conspiracy. Welcome, Ron from Cosmic Neighbors.
You build me up too much, buddy.
Well, listen, I try to get Michio Kaku. He won't return my calls. I try to get Neil deGrasse Tyson. He didn't return my emails. So I'm stuck with you, the third tier space expert.
They're tied up in my basement.
No, I bust your balls, but you really are, like, you amaze me, because I consider, when you know you're a nerd about something. Like, I'm a nerd about space and space exploration, always have been. But then I meet you and I'm like, damn, this guy's even a bigger nerd than me when it comes to all this stuff. You have like an encyclopedic knowledge, and you spend almost all of your time lately, you kind of left the UFO space, on just space stuff. So I think you're a good person for me to have a therapy session with about these stupid. First of all, can we both agree? Is this a stupid conspiracy theory, or is it just me?
I'll be honest. I've been quiet. I've been seeing, and I make little comments on the Manny's thing on Twitter, where all the Elizondo crap and all this. And I grew tired of it. But when I seen the tweets yesterday about the James Webb, I actually spent time and gave these guys views because I wanted to see what they were talking about. And I was like, I can't believe this. I really can't believe this, that they're pushing this. And we got the old, I got a source, but I can't say anything. You know what I mean? And we'll explain in a minute exactly how the James Webb.
Yeah, but before we get into sort of the debunk side of this, I thought maybe it's important that we look at the claims that people are making, because we could go, from there. Once we know what are the claims that are being made, then we can sort of get into the capabilities and what you know about this that would sort of indicate that the people making these claims. And also, before we even show this stuff, well, first let me put my fair use banner up. But before we show this stuff, I think we have to take a moment to say, when presented with extraordinary claims, or any claims, but especially extraordinary claims, I think it's important that we consider the source. And every source that I have found that is pushing these conspiracy theories is a wackadoo who have all pushed completely and totally fake, provably fake stories before. We've got all the usual cast of characters. So first of all, consider the source. Have these people been caught selling fake stories before? Yes. Have these people been caught really promoting hoaxes before? That in my view, they knew that some of these things they were promoting were hoaxes? Yes. So right off the bat, their credibility goes into the shitter, if you ask me. But here is a very succinct video. And by the way, I don't know this Challenge Reality, but he seems to be an up-and-coming bullshit artist. This is fair use. We'll get into the claims being made. And this is one of the promoters of this, who's going on things like Vetted and tweeting out his theory. Let's get into it.
The second discovery was tasked to look at a possible incoming contact, so an object that they spotted. This person that I've been talking to was asked to not talk about the details yet.
And by the way, every single person, Ron, that is making these claims are all claiming they have insider sources, but nobody can name any of the sources.
Does that have NDA kind of crap to you? Remember that?
Yeah. The excuse for why I can't tell you. And this is, of course, a classic trust me, bro story. Trust me, bro. So I have these big sources, and they're telling me all this, but I can't tell you who they are. This guy's doing it. Professor Simon, that guy's doing it. And Ross Coulthard.
I was shocked that Ross, you could see him on a milk carton. It doesn't matter. But Professor Simon, I was actually shocked. But Professor Simon didn't go all in on it. He kind of.
Well, you know what I think? I think he got a piece of his channel starts to blow up. He starts to get a piece of the grift money. He's looking at the views, and a year ago or 6 months ago, he was making this kind of claim, but he wasn't involving the James Webb. The James Webb is sort of retconned now. Now he's sort of jumping on it like, oh yeah, remember that video I made about the European Space Agency? And by the way, this is one big circle jerk. So some of this information came from Professor Simon almost a year ago. This guy puts it in this video. And so what we've got is a bunch of wackadoos circle jerking each other off. This guy saying, oh, the European Space Agency detected it first. That's directly from Professor Simon's video about an alien contact possibly being confirmed by Earthlings like a year ago. Let's continue with the video, though, see what else.
But they can tell me that the first discovery, the lights, came from ESA, the European Space Agency.
Professor
The
Simon
other one
is the
coming
source of
from
this.
the USA Canadian team.
Also,
from
Professor
James Webb, though.
Also, Professor Simon has said that, I believe.
But they're the ones leading this investigation. It was tasked from either the NSA or the DoD. They don't know who's the one tasking it.
And by the way, this is an important part, Ron. This guy's saying that the NSA or the DoD tasked them to investigate this. But then in this same video, he says that people in Congress are getting unclassified briefings. Does that make any sense? If the NSA and the DoD is working on a project, then any briefings about those projects would by nature be classified. They wouldn't be unclassified information just handed out to senators, right? Here's plot holes.
Here's if you notice where all these, because it's just about clicks and views. That's it.
Yeah.
Here's where they all came out with their videos, was because of the one Congress guy that they were in a meeting.
Yeah, he said no comment. Yeah.
No comment. They took no comment, and this is what we have.
It's a confirmation then.
Now,
he said no comment. The story must be true. And listen, senators, listen, senators and politicians say no comment all the time. Sometimes they say no comment because they have no idea really what the person's asking about, and they don't have any knowledge of it. They don't want to appear stupid or uninformed. So they just say no comment. It's the non-confirmation confirmation that UFO people always, they take no comment to mean something all the time.
And if they have let's say they have a private, a classified meeting about James Webb with NASA. Oh, yeah, that means Klingons are coming. No, maybe it's about, hey, it got hit with more micrometeoroids. So we may have
we're going to need some more funding. Yeah, we're going to need some more funding, or we're going to need to repair it, or a space mission to maintain it, because it's a great instrument. Yeah.
What did they expect, this guy to come out and just make a whole long comment? If he was able to do that, they would have had a public hearing.
Yeah. Let's continue. Let's continue in the cavalcade of conspiracy land bullshittery.
But yes, it is part of this.
Oh, and I just did want to comment too. Like, listen to this guy's video. If in case you can't hear it at home, or you don't have your volume up, it's got like the spooky music in the background. This is a produced story,
quote unquote threat narrative. The signal that is incoming is the big unknown. What they know is that it is coming. What they don't know is what the hell it is. I am trying to get people from Congress.
And this is deceptive. The signal that's coming in, I thought it was an object. Now it's a signal, and he puts up a signal graphic to show like a communication signal. It's not about a signal, according to all the other grifters. Yeah.
Either Congress people or staffers to give me an official quote. Another detail that was given to this person that I'm talking to is that this object is making moves, breaking moves, and course correcting moves. So that means that it is not a natural satellite. That means that it is not an asteroid either. It's coming this way, and it is massive.
Oh, you got to put the CGI picture of a spaceship in your video too.
I'm still laughing at that graph, because like he just picked out a graph and just like made that seem like that was like official.
Yeah, and here we have a CGI rendering of a spaceship in deep space.
It was an official graphic. That's it.
Yeah.
Wasn't given speed of this object. I wasn't given dimensions. It was very vague.
Yeah, I wasn't given dimensions of the object, but I'm going to show a giant spaceship up on the screen because other people are saying it's planet sized. And you know what I thought when I heard this, Ron? That's not a moon. It's the Death Star. They're talking about the Death Star. This is so stupid.
That's it.
And by the way, what is it that science fiction fantasy that was just on Netflix? It was a huge hit. Is the 3-body problem, the 4-body problem? What was that called? This is
not. I didn't see it.
I think it's the 3-body. Let me look it up just to make sure I'm not. Yeah, 3-body problem. It was a science fiction fantasy story that is exactly this plot. That we know that an object is coming towards Earth from deep space, and we have a finite number of years to prepare for the visitors. This is the plot of that science fiction fantasy that was hugely popular last year. I don't think that's a coincidence.
And this is what Congress people are being told as well. But there is another nugget of information that they're being told, which is the reason they are doing these unclassified briefings.
There you go. It's unclassified.
Because apparently there is some level of urgency. That doesn't mean that it's a threat, but it.
And by the way, if it was an unclassified briefing, then the senators could comment on anything said in an unclassified briefing. I think they can comment on that or talk about it.
It would have been a public setting. And you know what this reminds me of? You know when you get those psychics that say, anybody over here in this part of the audience, your name start with a J?
Yeah.
You know, that's the vibe I get here, that he's throwing out general terms.
I get the impression that he's just throwing as much shit against the wall as possible to try to make it meaningful to some people. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of numbnuts out there that it'll stick.
This is a story for numbnuts for sure. Listen, if the idiots on Reddit think it's true, then it's a great story, right? If the idiots watching Reddit. And by the way, though, you know, I hate to be critical of another show, but those people that watch that show are low information viewers. They don't do any research. They have no discernment skills, no critical thinking, and they're not aware of that show host's history of promoting 100% fake stories. This is likely just another in a long line of 100% fake stories being promoted by that garbage peddling scumbag that names the show Vet but vets nothing. And we're going to show that any show host could have reached out to somebody like you or me and figured out very quickly that this whole story is fake. But let's continue with the bullshit first.
Looked at, and it needs to be studied. Elizondo is already talking about it. Matt Ford is already talking about it. I know that
Elizondo is talking about it.
Start coming forward with it over the next 10 days or so.
Yeah, so a fake Pentagon program director and his UFO propaganda minister are talking about it. So that means this is important. Like, doesn't that matter that Lou Elizondo lied to the public for years for personal profit, and now he's getting into this story, right?
Yeah, and yeah, maybe we should pay $250 and go meet him at that dinner and ask him some questions.
I might do it. There's one in Philly, Ron. If there's a $250 dinner in Philly, I'm doing it. I'm going to wear secret spy glasses and I'm filming the whole thing and I'm going to grill that son of a bitch. And I'm going to ask him every question that all the UFO circle jerker clown cowards are too afraid to ask him. Like, what happened to the TTSA money? Where's the spaceship you promised everybody? Why did you lie to the New York Times and say you ran a funded real UFO program when it was just make-believe?
And ask him, where did your Rolex go?
Yeah, I would pay the $250 just to do that.
Congress people are being briefed about it as we speak.
How confident are you that?
Yes, and here's garbage peddling hoax promoter, proven multiple hoax promoter, vetted, is promoting this bullshit story. That may be some clue that this is another fake story from Vetted.
I've never watched them before. I only watched a part of this on Twitter.
Yeah, I only became aware of it because he took some shots at me for accurate reporting. He took shots at me for accurately reporting on a story that he was promoting that was 100% fake. And I believe that was the UFO diorama story, right? And
that's right.
yeah, he tried to get points with some of the Griff Squad members for coming after me. It didn't work out too well for him.
It's true that there is an object detected by James Webb that's headed towards Earth that is massive. Like how confident are you?
How confident are you in your
that
sources you can't reveal?
information you got from your source?
More than confident, it's like I'm weary that this information is being passed around.
Oh no!
I don't know if it's
This might be
Trust me, bro.
This might be catastrophic disclosure. But yeah, how confident are you? Oh, 100% confident. Can you share any evidence? No. But trust me, bro.
true. I know that it is being passed around.
Sure.
That I'm confident of.
Sure.
But I want to know their motive for talking about this and
Got it.
why it's being like urgently communicated.
Is this tied to what Lou was saying on Matt's show?
Yeah, it is.
You think those two things are the same thing?
Is that confirmed, or you think it is?
I asked, and
Yeah, and Elizodo's essentially saying on the Matt Ford show that there's going to be a huge event that they won't be able to hide, and it's coming soon. And this is the story. This James Webb conspiracy. That's the story.
And wait, can I ask you, was he just saying a type 2? Are they talking about like a type 2 civilization? Or did I
Yeah,
mishear that? Because
You
I
might
thought
have-
he said,
Yeah, I didn't hear type 2.
okay.
I didn't get a no. I can talk about it.
Again, no comment is taken to mean something. That's twice. When you make a video, if you've got to pretend that a no comment twice means something that you want it to, you might be a bullshitter, right? I got no comment. The senator said no comment, and Lou Elizondo said no comment. So that means it's true.
How can you make videos and say like about a spectacular claim and absolutely have zero kind of evidence just by what is said, but I can't tell you who or I can't tell you what because I don't know.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I
might be
mean?
some clue that this story is completely and totally fake. But honestly, as soon as I saw who was promoting the story, I knew it was fake because these are promoters of fake stories. Lou Elizondo, this Patrick from Vetted, and we have a clip from Ross Coulthard also promoting this. You know, the guy who knows where a giant spaceship is on Earth, but he can't tell us. That same
Isn't he
guy.
the guy that had found space balls or something like that?
Yeah, Jim Spaceballs. And he lied and said they had conclusive proof of alien technology confirmed by this man, this world-renowned scientist. And then they cut to a shot of Michio Kaku. They didn't have any evidence when it came to that story. None. It was a complete and total bluff. This is another bluff.
That's so
Can
weird.
you say
man.
who you asked, or like
No.
Matt or Lou? Okay.
No,
It can't even tell who.
I can't say.
It can't even say who gave him
I
the
mean, it
no
would have to
comment.
be Lou.
All right.
He's the only
Sorry, give
one
me
to
a second.
confirm or deny that.
I mean, that whole conversation was just
There's
so
a whole group.
weird.
There's a whole group that knows about this, Patrick. It's not just them two. You know.
Yeah, the group is all the Griff Squad. That's the group that knows all about this, Ron. Proven grifters.
So is this because, like I said, I'm familiar with the Simon dude. Like I've seen some of his videos in the past.
Yeah, and in the
I don't
past
know
he was
these
more
other
science
guys.
based, but now I think he got a taste of the grifter money, so he's going to be all chips in, and he has promoted evidence-free stories. Like I said, last year he came out and basically said that SETI scientists have confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial life, and it's going to be announced eventually or soon. But
No, they haven't.
yeah, exactly. So, but in that story, it was, I have secret sources and I can't tell you who they are, right?
There have been some significant rumors of events regarding UAP
Good
that
propaganda.
may occur within, like 10 years or so. I don't know if it's something coming or a natural disaster.
Oh, this is a problem because didn't they say that this is 100 light years away, or is it 10 light years away?
It's the because they're talking about that planet. I told you, what was it?
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, it's
can't wait.
120 light years away.
Yeah. So that would mean it would have to be going 10 times the speed of light to arrive here in 10 years, which is against the laws of physics.
So everybody can just understand a light year is about 5.8 trillion miles.
Yes,
That's one
and
light
it's
year.
it's the time that it takes light to travel. It's the time that light can travel in a full year, right?
Exactly.
So, but that's what I'm saying. There's a math problem here because Matt Ford is saying, oh, in the next 10 years, and these people are saying, oh, this thing's 100 light years away, then it would have to be going 10 times the speed of light, which is against the laws of physics. So there's a problem here.
And let's just use 100 light years away. If you're looking at something, the light from something 100 light years away, right, taking 100 years to get here, if let's say there is something, whatever they see there, that could have been gone 90 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's light
you're
still
looking at,
traveling
yeah,
over
you're
100
looking
years.
at the light that we're getting in the telescope today, that's 100 light years away, is 100 years old.
Exactly.
So that object could have moved 90 years ago, and we don't know it yet. Yeah, that's another great point. See, just a little bit of real physics and science knowledge really destroys these grifters.
You hear of something big coming down the pike. Have you heard of these claims? And if so, do you have any idea what it may be?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes, I'm aware of them, and I'm not able to have that conversation.
Got it.
Well, why can't he have the conversation, Ron? Because this other guy said that Congress is getting unclassified briefings, which would mean that none of this information is classified. But Lou Elizondo can't talk about it
because he wants to save it for part 2 of his book.
Yes, he needs new grifting material for his projects.
Yeah,
yes.
It's going to be named Still Imminent.
It's not my conversation to have, but I am aware of it.
We're kind of preparing.
Oh, and then we have John Ramirez, former CIA. He's on this grift too.
U.S. population, at least, and by extension, the world population, and to that reality that there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before, previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022. Well, maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027.
Yes, and this guy predicted that there will be a mass UFO alien visitation in 2027. So that's just 3 years away, right? How is something that's 100 light years getting here in 3 years? Ron, I'm confused. Wormholes? You got to have there's so many plot holes into this stupid conspiracy.
Yeah, and I can't wait to even though a lot of people I'm sure already know, but I can't wait to just explain how simple the James Webb, just looking it up and going through some stuff, just like blows everything they're saying away.
Yeah, well, let's get through this. We got a couple more minutes here.
For the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared, and if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do. And so I think that dialogue has.
This guy screwed up though, Ron, because you never give a hard date. And in 2027, people are going to pull this clip up and go, "Come on, John Ramirez, where's the aliens you said would be here? They're not here." You know?
Yeah, they'll just move the goalposts like they always do.
Yeah. Well, they got stuck in a wormhole, and there'll be a few more years.
Happens
exactly.
Inside the government, certain areas inside the government that we need to prepare, and that's why in 2017 that set a clock of 10 years, and why Lou Elizondo earlier in this year said, just find a hobby for 5 years, and
nobody can agree when the spaceships are getting here. 10 years, 5 years, 3 years.
Here's what I've been hearing a lot is this 10-year thing, and what does that accomplish? That allows them to drag.
It gives them 10 years of grifting. Yes, 10 years of grifting.
A whole bunch of people will be like this for 10 years waiting like that.
Yes. 10 years. Give yourself a 10-year grifting window.
They'll all be out in 5 years. And he said that this year, so that was 2027. And I would say I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity that I can't reveal. So I think
nobody can reveal their sources for this bullshit, Ron. It's all there's 4 guys now doing 5 guys doing Trust Me Bros.
Well, we're actually looking at
4, 5, 6, 7 people doing Trust Me Bro. Yeah, we're up to 7 people doing Trust Me Bro.
We're looking at the sources.
Yeah, and they're all just circle jerking each other off, backing
You
up
always
each
say
other's
it.
bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say that people in the government are aware of something happening and that there's limited time, a few more years to prepare the people, and that's what's ramping up this acceleration from the previous 7 decades of not even acknowledging it to now we are acknowledging it at a faster and faster pace.
Ooh, spooky. Oh, spooky. I have one more, but it's only like a minute long that we have to go through, and that is my favorite disgraced Australian journalist, Ross Coulthart, who, by the way, accused good family men, Ron, he accused good men with wives and children of being child sex predators and turned out to be 100% completely and totally wrong. And depending on who you ask, got fired, contract not renewed with his job. And so he became a disgraced journalist over the worst thing you could possibly do, accuse a man of being a sex creeper with children. And his source for that story got arrested for making those false claims. That's how much of a shit peddler, garbage peddler Ross Coulthart is. That's what got him into the UFO community. He couldn't get a real job. Yeah.
You know what it is? Like, because they come off as professional, right? Like, if you look at this, what's that guy's name that was with Elizondo with glasses? Ford or something like that?
Yeah, they come off as credible, maybe.
You know, he's probably in his closet or something. He has a good green screen, but throw on a suit and everything, comb your hair, and make yourself look like you're on ABC 7 or something like that. You know, but it's all crap.
It's propaganda.
It's all crap. Yeah. I know you've been in this a long time.
Too long.
I've been in this a long time myself. Maybe not streaming it, but I've been involved in a long time in this, and I've seen all people like this come and go and come and go, and they all say the same thing. Maybe new words in the dictionary come out of their mouths, but it's all the same. And at the end of the day, that's what we see. That's disclosure.
Yeah. Well, let me share this again. This is fair use. It's a transformative work, and we just did a show on this. Ross Coulthart's podcast is called Need to Know, and what you need to know about Ross Coulthart's podcast, what you need to know is he sells fake alien stories, and we've caught him multiple times. We have a 9-hour breakdown debunk of, I think it's 5 completely and totally fake stories that he got caught selling. And he's pushing his own version of this story, of course, for money. This is monetized views, right?
I'm hearing a lot of rumors about the James Webb Space Telescope having detected something significant. I tweeted about it just yesterday, but apparently NASA's announced the detection of a potential signature of extraterrestrial life in the atmosphere of a planet located 120 light years away. And apparently the James Webb Space Telescope
now that part is kind of true.
Detection of the molecule dimethyl sulfide, which is only
and he adds on the conspiracy to the truth
on Earth. It's a tentative detection, and they're preaching caution before they declare it's aliens. But what we can expect is that there's going to be clarification of that this year. And I think that's one thing that the government of the United States is already aware of and sitting on. I think they know the answer already. That's at least what I've been told.
What he's been told is that they know that there's definitely life on that planet, but we'll get into that because you know all about that planet, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, sure. Let's listen to this.
No, we're done. That's it.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah.
No, I was just, and you got to remember,
he expanded a little bit, basically claiming that he has
and
within the government.
He did go into the right direction. He started in the wrong one about a signal being detected and all that. No, and you're going to see me look at notes too because I have the memory of a pea.
No worries.
Give me a second here. First of all, and this happened September 11th last year, Webb, because it was a planet called an exoplanet K2-18b, which I'll share in a minute and show. But it discovered methane, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay. Now, a lot of exoplanets, they find that on. This one just so happens to be the signature was much more prevalent. But as more time went on, they found out that this exoplanet is almost 9 times the size of the Earth. Takes 32 days to make one rotation. The temperature averages minus 100 to minus 150 degrees. Right now, I don't know if that's Fahrenheit or Celsius. If it's Celsius, it's way cold to, but I'm going to bring up that thing. Give me a second here. This is, can I share this, Sean?
Yeah.
Sean.
Sean.
I don't know.
Pro tip. Know the name of the host of the show you're on. Yes, you got to share it, and then I click allow or whatever on my end. So
okay.
Go down to
I'm going to do this one first.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Ron comes with receipts.
This is from the mess. This is if I pull this over. This is from you can see the test satellite, Spitzer, but this image right here is actually coming from Webb. This is I even forgot the name of the damn thing already. What was it called? K218b. That's what this is. That's how it sees the exoplanet. It's so far the planet. They don't get the James Webb is an amazing telescope, but it doesn't get clear images of these exoplanets. The ones you see on NASA's website of it clear, those are artist renditions of it. You know what I mean? So that's what James Webb is built for. It's built to see in infrared. It can see through gas clouds and everything, stuff that Hubble couldn't see through before. It also can detect the gases and everything in the atmosphere. But
well, that's very helpful if you're looking for life, right?
Well, here's something. This is what's gonna basically debunk it, and I'm gonna explain to you in a second. I'm gonna share this. This is a website, Space Telescope Live. You can look at, and let me exit full screen. I'm going to say view. This is what James Webb is looking at. See, it says March 8, 2024. I'm going to go to view latest target. Now it's going to show you the last thing that it was looking at, and it's still looking at it, is right here, Monday, September 23rd, 2024. This is what you see, what James Webb does. It doesn't scan, move side to side. It's looking
at a single point in space.
There are hundreds of scientists around the world that put in proposals to get time to use the telescope. Now, anybody that has a telescope knows you can't just take a telescope like binoculars and start moving it around. You got to focus in on a part and go. So that's what they do. They only have hours to use this thing. So basically what's happening is the telescope is sending all that back, and they're getting images of it. And just like astrophotography, you take a bunch of images and stack it so you get the clearest picture possible. But it doesn't detect moving objects. Okay, it stays straight, kind of like this. A matter of fact, there was something I was promoting, asking people if they wanted to volunteer. A while back was about searching for asteroids. What do? They have these cameras out in one of the satellites. I forgot the name of the satellite, but it would just keep snapping images of space. Boom, 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 boom. What they would do is you would go through each image, and then you would see the stars in place. But as they move a little bit, you would all of a sudden see something that, like, oh, why isn't that moving with it? That stood this way. That's how you find asteroids, by still images. There's nothing out there scanning, like catching up, going, locking on and going, oh, let me find this like that. Nothing. It's too far. We can't do that. And the time it takes to get back to us, it's not in real time, James Webb, when it looks and finds this. Like, here, I'll show you something else. Watch this. Let me share this. This is pretty awesome. Everybody knows. This is going to be through the James Webb. I'm going to show you. Everybody knows Orion, right? Orion's belt. So we'll look at that nebula, M42. And now you're like, what the heck is that? Well, we zoom out.
Oh, there you go. There's the
There's
nebula.
Orion's belt, right? Now, this is taken from James Webb, but watch how cool this is. So everybody knows now, when you look at the tree, the very first one, right underneath that is the Horsehead Nebula. See it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this right here, underneath it, you'll see 3 other stars. This is the Orion Nebula. This is where all the stars are born. You ever hear the pillars of creation?
Yeah. This is where
That's
stars are born. Yeah.
They're right in here. That's right where they are. So basically, if James Webb was looking at this right now, right? And by the way, this is over 1,140 light years away, Orion. It's over 1,100 light years away. But if it's looking at this, right, that image right there happened over 1,100 years ago, right? And you think it's going to see something moving?
No.
All right. And by a matter of fact, without going through all this stuff, because you know me, I jump around and everything. Let me stop the sharing for a second. And I don't know why my camera keeps freezing up. I don't know why, but you kind of caught it right there and debunked it. Was with physics, with math, is the thing is 120, they're going to say 100. Sure, let's give them that. Let's even say 50, right? Even if it was 50 light years away, what you're looking at, it takes it from traveling at the speed of light. It takes every light year, it takes a year for that light to get here. So what you're looking at is 50 years in the past.
Yeah.
So are they trying to insinuate that the James Webb is real time looking 100 light years away?
Yeah, it seems like they are. And that's not the way physics works. And space travel at super high speeds doesn't work that way.
No.
So this is how I knew that the story was likely 100% fake, because the images that they're getting, if it's 100 light years away, is from 100 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they're, and the fact that it doesn't, I was aware that James Webb doesn't like track moving objects in space at all. 100% doesn't do that.
It uses infrared. I love this. And I seen somebody real quick in the chat. I'll tell you guys in a minute, because I have to look it up. You have to sign up for it, but it's pretty awesome. It's free to use. Let me see something here.
Yeah, somebody was asking about the program that you're using.
Yeah, it's called the look up MAST, MAST, the Barbara A. Mikulski Archive for Space Telescopes. Okay.
Well, there's always some mental gymnastics. So Terra Business says they come here via QFEG, quantum flux entanglement gravity engine. And yes, it is a thing. Okay. But this is not proven science. This is your theory, and I said earlier, wormholes, faster than light travel, warp technology but all these things we don't know exist. They're all theoretical. So,
and that's the thing is like, look, I'll be the first person to put his life on it without any proof that there's life out there. Space is just too big, and I'm not saying
I agree with that.
Exactly
yes.
That's the only thing I would bet my life on, with absolutely zero proof on that.
Well, you'd have to think that with so many rolls of the dice for all the exoplanets, how many have they found so far? And we've just begun charting the exoplanets.
They found over 5,700 so far.
Yeah, so that's almost 6,000 exoplanets out there, and
in our galaxy.
In our galaxy, yeah, we haven't gotten to the other galaxies yet.
There's billions or trillions of galaxies out there. So, because remember, our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. That's how big the Milky Way is.
That's a pretty vast distance. Yeah,
exactly.
But I do worry about the Fermi paradox. Like, if they are out there, how come we haven't found them yet? But then when you consider the vast distances involved, they could be on the outer edge of that 100,000 light years in our galaxy. They could be 100,000 light years from us, the other intelligent species in our galaxy. It's interesting to just the vast distances. But I always thought I don't know, everything is too perfect in the universe. And it just, to me, like, let's try to get into the mind of the creator of the universe, if there indeed was one, and I believe there was, because things are too perfectly designed. Why would you make a world that big? And the only thing that I could compare it to is a video game. Like, I've made video games in my younger years. You make the world as big as it needs to be for the game to work. It doesn't make sense to me that an intelligent designer would make such an incredibly vast, let's just call it a playing board, an open world, whatever. Why would he make it that big? And then only in one tiny speck of that huge map is there intelligent life. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And space, it's so big that you can't even fathom. You can't even. I try to come up with an analogy of how big it is, but there is none. It's just that space, the openness of space. And the thing that gets me is, like, I believe in parallel universes, everything. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Now, I'm not trying to get into low Marvel stuff about, we got an alternate person. Like that.
You know what I hate in comic books? The parallel universe stories, because I feel like it's lazy writing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this happened on a parallel universe, so it didn't screw up our main continuity.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
And they call it like the multiverse or something like
the multiverse.
that. I don't believe in that stuff, but I mean, like, the way it's layered, there could potentially be that, just like when they said the wormholes and all that. Just because a wormhole is theoretically possible, right? Einstein showed
we haven't confirmed one that's real, though, right?
We haven't confirmed it. You know what? You're right. Let's just put it this way. What was it called? Rosen's Bridge or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it's called a
Einstein-Rosen Bridge, I think, yes.
Yes, Einstein. And I mean, when you think about it, yeah, sure. But that's just math. You know what I mean? And it's just a theory. Actually, the Big Bang is a theory. That's not 100% either. I mean, it looks like it is, thanks to the James Webb showing us.
Yeah, I don't know. I have accepted that the Big Bang may be how the universe began, but one argument for God that I know of is that God is beyond time and space. So what can be before time and space? Only God, right?
No.
Only something supernatural could be before time and space.
No. But
so I've accepted Big Bang, but I think that he did it.
I did a show a year or two ago. I think it was when I was doing a show called The Weekend Warm Up, and I had Eric on, a few people on, and I said, you guys are going to get a headache on this, because when I went to the Big Bang, and I truly would get a headache on this. Let's consider God. Let's consider everything. Before the Big Bang, right, you can say there's nothing. But if they say, but there was two, okay, where did the atoms come from, right? So now let's go down to the God thing. Well, God did that. Well, where did God come from? Now, I know it could just say, and I remember I had this argument with somebody, and it wasn't being anti-religion or nothing like that. He just said, God is just God. And that didn't sit well with me, because I was like, that's lazy to me just to say that. Because when you go back and say, okay, anything you say, and I don't mean you, Stephen, I'm just saying anything anybody says.
In general, yeah.
It could be, I would question and say, okay, but where did that begin from?
Yeah,
like that.
And also, God is a convenient excuse for many things. You understand that in ancient times, when we didn't understand things like what made the rain come down, we would say the rain god did it. It creates the rain, and we would pray to the rain god so that we would have rain for good crops. So it is a lazy explanation, but I believe in intelligent design at the very least, because you know this because you're such a fan of all the things space, but there's too many dials in the universe that are set perfectly. And if even one of those dials is just a little bit off, the universe doesn't exist. in its present form. So
think about even our solar system alone. Like when you look at the moon.
Yeah, the Earth wouldn't be the Earth without the moon there to provide the gravitational forces.
When they used to say it looks like Swiss cheese with all the meteors hitting it. If Jupiter wasn't where it was, that's called the comet killer.
Yeah.
How many comets Jupiter sucks up with some tremendous gravity
and
that
asteroids
we would have been out of here a long time
we would
ago.
have been obliterated, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, big time. So
well, I guess it did miss the dinosaur one though. That got past Jupiter somehow.
Yeah, that one came in on the low. That one came actually I think that one, from what they understand, may have come like, how they say like the solar system's like a flat disc like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think like they said, came interstellar, came downwards, but I mean,
that's
I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Good point. Says God is outside of time because He created space-time itself. Yeah.
But who created God?
Exactly.
Now again, this ain't me arguing like going against God or going against religions or nope, because I'm just asking, because like I understand that it's like, you see, when I see faith, right? Like a lot of people have faith. I believe that in the UFO community too, because there's no they don't have no proof. They go on their beliefs and faith.
Yeah.
Right? Except there's a lot of false prophets in the UFO realm.
Yeah, we've done shows on it. And you know what? I love the people who just ignore facts because they like, I mean, think about, Ron, how many of these people that promote this agenda are proven lying scumbag profiteers. But people just give them a pass because they're telling them what they like, Oh,
and that's why they're still around. That's why they're still around. And again, I hope I'm serious, everybody. I'm not saying that.
No, I think you're being respectful to people who believe, I don't know. I often have, I really tried to be an atheist for a while and I just couldn't do it. I don't know if it was the 12 years of Catholic brainwashing or, just my personal gut feeling, but I just look at all the dials of the universe and how perfectly designed so many things are. Look at DNA. Look at the way
look at the human body.
Yeah, the human body is a goddamn miracle. And the fact that the human brain is the most complicated organism in the known universe. How does that just happen by accident? I don't think it can. I think somebody had to design this, even if it was. And we can't comprehend the mind of man. I know the Bible, people argue with me. I know a Bible literalist who really believes that the world was created in 7 days because the Bible says so. But I asked him, what's a day to God? And he couldn't answer. He's like, no, it's a day. Well, no, you don't know that. Maybe to God, time is irrelevant because he's outside of time. And they just used the 7 days to explain it to man. Who knows, But back to this.
Wait, one quick thing that I don't believe in. This is a whole other can of worms. I don't believe in evolution.
Really?
I don't believe in evolution. And I'm not saying, I believe in the church started no, not even that. It's just, I believe in adaptation, like that things adapt.
But you don't believe one species can turn into a whole different species? Then there's a lot of people.
No, and they have never showed us that either. And a matter of fact, I'll just give you this one example. They say evolution could take millions of years, right? They said cows actually came from whales, right? We have whale fossils. We have cow fossils. Where's the whale cow?
I know you're right. But in the case of man, we have primate fossils, and then we have man fossils, and we do have some in between species, I believe, between man and
but there's similarities. But I know what you're saying. It's just that there's too much of and I'm not going the Anunnaki route. Trust me. I think there's too much of an extreme thing with the brains and everything and structures. There's similarities. There's a lot of similarities when you look at just regular animals, but they just say everything came from this, like alligators came from salamanders, squirrels or rodents, okay, they look like rats and mice and everything. I just there's different kinds of life. I think, like you said, the miracle of like everything splitting off when the soup of the earth was going. I think it just took time. I just think over the millennia, we just don't see a lot of evidence of all what was here. You know,
Yeah.
it's a very deep conversation. That's why it says a whole other can of worms.
But back to this hoax. So I guess there is multiple angles of attack to show that this is a hoax. First of all, I think you got to consider the source. And these sources that are pushing this conspiracy are very problematic sources that have, most of them have been caught pushing completely fake stories before for profit. So there's a profit-driven motive. These people are not the best researchers. If they were, they would have found the things that you found, that this, I'm sorry, that the telescope doesn't even do what they're describing it doing. Essentially, they're describing it tracking a moving object, right?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit distracted because I was going to get that article that a lot of this stemmed from. We can share that next.
Okay.
Tantalizing sign of possible life on a faraway world. And I'm going to share my screen. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. We'll be discussing the article that we are sharing. Tantalizing signs of possible life on a faraway world. NASA James Webb Telescope may have discovered tentative evidence of a sign of life on a faraway planet. It may have detected a molecule called dimethyl sulfide, DMS. On Earth, at least, this is only produced by life. The researchers stressed that the detection of the planet 120 light years away is not robust, and more data is needed to confirm its presence. Researchers have also detected methane and carbon dioxide in the planet's atmosphere. Detection of these gases could mean the planet, named K2-18b, has a water ocean. Professor Niku, Madsahadahan of the University of Cambridge, who led the research, told BBC News that his entire team were shocked when they saw the results. On Earth, DMS is only produced by life. The bulk of it in Earth's atmosphere is emitted from phytoplankton in marine environments, but they urge caution. The professor described the detection of DMS as tentative and said that more data would be needed to confirm its presence. Those results are expected in a year. If confirmed, it would be a huge deal, and I feel a responsibility to get this right if we are making such a big claim. It is the first time astronomers have detected the possibility of DMS in a planet orbiting a distant star. But they are treating the results with caution, noting that a claim made in 2020 about the presence of another molecule called phosphine that could be produced by living organisms in the clouds of Venus was disputed a year later. Dr. Robert Massey, who is an independent of the research and deputy director of the Royal Astronomical Society in London, said he was excited by the results. Quote, "We are slowly moving towards the point where we will be able to answer that big question as to whether we are alone in the universe or not," he said. "I'm optimistic that one day we will find signs of life. Perhaps it will be this, perhaps in 10 or 50 years, we will have evidence that is so compelling that it is the best explanation." So sounds like it's a tentative discovery.
When was this article? When did they make that article, Stephen?
Here, let me see if I can find the date. The 12th of September, 2023. So this is a year. This is a year-old story that these grifters are repackaging and running with.
NASA reported on this discovery September 11th of 2023. So, like you said, because this exoplanet was found like
the confirmation and more data by now. Do you know if they have released any more data, or is this just a dead story then because they don't have the more data?
No, well, they haven't. And what people are doing is, right, because look, it makes sense. What people are doing, and this is an article, right, by this person.
By the BBC.
That it, yeah, whatever you take that, right? It could take a year to get more data Where are we? We're a year later, and all of a sudden the stories are coming out that, oh, they had a meeting, so it must be this and that. But here's the problem. Again, even if they had a meeting and said, hey, we discovered more gases in the atmosphere that show that there could probably really be life over there, some kind of form of life. They won't know, definitely. They're just going by the atmosphere, the gases, right? And this whole thing they threw out there about that they detected this thing and it's coming out, it's just BS. I'm not going to curse. It's just BS.
Well, the stories are all different, though. Some people are saying they detected a signal. Well, that would mean it would have to be an intelligence signal, right? Like, oh no, they detected. They detected other people. Oh, they detected the planet, and it's definitely got life on it. And they're briefing Congress members. Other people, no, it's an object and it's moving, and it's coming towards Earth. This is the plot of the three-body problem in the science fiction three-body problem. They figured out that there was a huge spacecraft on a trajectory heading straight towards Earth. And I can't remember how far away it was, but I think they have 20, 30 years or something like that to, deal with the situation and do whatever they're going to do when the aliens arrive.
They messed up when they threw the James Webb in there like this, okay? Because, again, James Webb is expensive. It was expensive. But it's an amazing, the best thing we ever had until the Roman Grace gets out there, that next telescope. But it's not built like that. It's anybody that has a telescope, a regular telescope, knows you can't track something up there in space, even if you want to look at something.
I got an education. I got an education on that because I got a new telescope at the cabin, and I was trying, I saw this might be a UFO, and I checked the satellite tracker. There's no FAA lights. There's bright light in the sky moving. And then I get the telescope out to try to track it. You move that telescope a half a millimeter and it goes 10 miles over or something because it's so big.
Exactly.
It's very difficult to track anything moving with an actual telescope. That's a problem for this.
And you got the James Webb it's not looking like, it doesn't have regular lenses on it and regular cameras. Okay. It's looking in infrared, and it's just like, remember when I mentioned before that all these scientists, they bid for time to use the telescope, right? So when they get that, you know what? They have to use every second the smartest way possible. So they already have a plan of what they're going to be looking at. They put the coordinates in, it focuses on there, and they let it rip, and it just stays on that thing. Now, of course, if there's any kind of movement, like it doesn't have to, because the space where it is not rotated. It'll stay on that. It ain't going to go, wait a minute, what was that? And just switch over and just go, oh, I'm going to follow this. Like that. No, it's locked in right there, and they're just getting images. They're not getting a video stream. It's not a video stream like these people are. It's just millions of snapshots.
Well, it shows an ignorance of the actual capabilities of the telescope they're using in their fake story. Like, and there's another issue that I wanted to explore with you that also would prove that this story is fake. How many scientists around the world, astrophysicists, astronomers, have access to all of the data that comes from James Webb, or most of the data that comes from James Webb? How many scientists on Earth?
Not a lot at all.
Really? 100?
No, maybe. Here's the thing.
Because my point is, Ron, that would mean that 100 people know this planet-sized object is hurling towards Earth and kept their mouth shut and didn't tell anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is not very plausible here.
It's just not. But here's the thing, just so you understand, when the scientists around the world, because that time is precious, they don't get to punch it. They have to provide on their proposal where they want it, and the people at NASA, you say, they're the ones that punch it in and point it to them and say, okay, you're on, this is your time. Nobody else gets to use the telescope during that time. But like what I showed you on this thing right here, I'm just going to show one more.
Oh yeah,
time.
and that's the other point that I wanted to make for the audience. This software that you're using shows everything that the James Webb has looked at. Is that correct?
Not only the James Webb, every other
Space
satellite,
telescope,
Hubble, everything.
Yeah.
This
so,
one right
but
here,
here's my point, Ron. Why can't the people pushing this conspiracy theory look up who found the object on this website and show it to us? Look up the data that would 100% prove their fake science fiction fantasy stories to be true. The data should be right here. You should be able to look it up and show it to us. Where's the object?
Exactly.
And they can't, because this is a fake story, Ron.
See what it says right here? It is. See on here, it says, let me just bring it down. And by the way, everybody, this is spacetellescopelive.org. See, you can look at Hubble. You could look at Hubble, and this is as like close to as live as it comes. Like it shows you the next start time. The next time it's going to start looking is in September 25th, 2024. Actually, that's now. It's showing 10:07. So this is almost a live shot from Hubble, almost. It's obviously a delay of the time, but this is as live as it gets. And then back to Webb.
And let me ask you another theoretical question. If, and it's a big if, scientists using these very advanced space telescopes were made aware of a strange object that's possibly under intelligent control, wouldn't they train every resource they have on it? Exactly. And therefore they would have more data? So what we're seeing is there's no corroboration from Hubble about this stupid conspiracy theory. There's no data that supports these guys. It's all trust me, bro stories.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with when they announced that they found that exoplanet last year, and they said, oh, and remember, that thing was found in 1995 originally, right? And then I think in 2005, I think the Kepler, if I'm not wrong, discovered more on it, but then the James Webb put it over the top because of how powerful it is. At that point, do you know how many amateur astronomers that are basically like smarter than a lot of NASA people and other ones like that?
That's another thing.
And these guys have some like 30-inch Dobsonian telescopes that you don't think that if let's just even be conservative and say at least 100,000 of them around the globe didn't focus on that and look that way and start taking images of it, because they did. And where is it? Where's the Dyson? Where's the Death Star? Where's the object that's flying coming here? And
that's not a moon, Ron. That's definitely not a moon. That's the first thing I thought when I heard this story. The Death Star is coming our way. It's planet size.
They got 10 years to continue their grift. Now, I don't know these guys on Vetted. I don't know them. I never
trust me. He's a garbage peddling scumbag, and you know, it's like that's one of those guys that like makes those kind of excuses, like, "Hey, well, we're just talking about things." No, you're grifting. You're grifting. You know this story is fake, but it'll get you views. So, you know, this is the way that the world works now. You know,
that reminds me of those other brothers guys that used to just.
That's exactly. Listen,
a little question mark at the end.
Vetted is third phase of moon. In fact, he copied their entire thumbnail style with the red arrows and the question marks for the sensational titles. He's third phase of moon. He must have saw them making a lot of money selling bullshit. He copied a lot of what he does from them, and the same kind of defense when he gets caught. And he's been caught 3 or 4 times selling completely and totally fake stories, not vetting shit, which is funny because the show's called Vetted. I'm allowed to laugh at that.
It just gives you a legit sound, right?
Yeah, we're vetting things here. No, you're selling fake nonsense. And then, of course, Ross Coulthard, Lou Elizondo. Hey,
You,
listen, a fake Pentagon program director said that aliens in a planet-sized spaceship are on their way to Earth, right? It's so stupid. It's so
yeah, give us
childish.
10 years. You'll see in 10 years.
Yeah.
And
And in the
10 years,
meantime, buy
no.
my shit. Buy my book. Buy my documentary. The aliens are coming in the next 10 years.
Yeah, he'll
Mark
be
my
on part
words.
7 of his book.
You know what's funny, though? They're a little smarter. David Wilcock is always terrible with dates. Like before the year 2000, in about 1997, late 1997, early 1998, he started grifting on the year 2000, telling everybody they'd get superpowers when the year 2000 came and there'd be a global mass ascension event. And he only had 2 years to grift off of that. And then everybody knew none of the shit that he said happened. And then he did it again in the lead up to 2012, but he was a little smarter then. He started that at about 2008, and he had 4 years worth of grifting, telling everybody that a mass ascension event was going to happen on the Mayan calendar in December, 2012 or whatever. And we're going to get rainbow light bodies and telepathic superpowers, and there'll be a mass global solar event. And none of that happened. And he does the same thing each time. He's got to like run away for a little while, do the Cosmic Con Shuffle.
Cosmic Con Shuffle used to call it.
Yes. And now, I don't know if you're aware of this, Ron, but now this clown is saying that in the year 2025, there's going to be a mass global contact event. And here's where it gets even stupider. Besides saying that the Archangel Michael told him to take baths in his own piss to get superpowers, and then he got superpowers and he saved Trump from an assassin's bullet in the astral realm with his telekinetic superpowers. Besides that, he's saying that in 2025, there will be a massive contact event. And he's going to be hired by the government to be the ambassador to the aliens. And this is all coming in 2025. And the first wave of ascension is coming in 2025. And while he's doing all that and telling people they're going to get superpowers in 2025, he's also telling people that he's going to start selling free energy-powered anti-gravity hover cars. But
is he still 3D printing them?
Yeah, the 3D printed toys. We haven't talked. I don't know if you know, but he claimed all this shit about me. He said I got him swatted and all this stuff, and he was going to sue me. And then we got the body cam footage. His version of swatting is an animal control officer left a business card on his door, knocked for him. He wasn't home. He had an animal neglect complaint. And so we got.
Let me ask you a serious question, right? Do you think he is legitimately Section 8 like that? Or is he just one that plays that off and like is just total straight up con?
Most of me leans towards the latter, because despite his claims of having a 180 IQ, I don't think he's anywhere near that smart, because that would make him smarter than Einstein. But I don't know. I'm always on the fence when people ask me this. I think that he has wasted decades of his life on all this, and he can't like admit to himself that it's all fake. So he just keeps trying to find more and more. And you got to remember too, that he's an extreme narcissistic personality disorder. And by the way, I'm not diagnosing him. That's just my opinion. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but look at the guy's actions and behavior. Oh, it was so funny, Ron. We got the call he made to the animal control officer, and he starts the conversation off like this. I'm really famous. I have 50,000 YouTube subscribers. I've been on over 100 episodes of Ancient Aliens. So I'm a big celebrity and people are messing with me. Like, he's an extreme narcissist. And his entire like ego and self-worth is derived from his bullshit. So I don't think he can stop. But it's interesting. He threatened to sue me. And despite the fact that, oh, and this is the greatest part, he said he was going to sue me for defamation and slander, Ron. And in the same live stream where he's saying he's going to sue me for defamation and slander, he told his entire audience, thousands of people, that I'm a Satan worshiper and a P word, a child predator. But he's going to sue me for defamation and slander.
Yeah, I don't think Discovery would work out too well for him.
Well, and you got to think, like, how dumb is he? Because you see, Corey Good started suing his critics. How good did that work out for Corey Good? It destroyed his whole grift, you know? But even still, out of an abundance of caution, I said, I'm going to stop covering him until I get some extra protections in place. And I'm happy to say that I finally finished all the paperwork this week. I'm going to have media insurance with $1 billion insurance company. So I'm not stopping covering him. I just want to have those protections in place, because if he is dumb enough to actually sue me for anything like a frivolous lawsuit, I'm not going to fight with him. He's going to fight with my $1 billion insurance company and their literal army of lawyers. And I'm going to fully brief them on all of his fake shit, and they'll destroy this guy. They will destroy him. And it's good to have that insurance, because like, listen, and there are people like being nasty to me, like, oh, he threatens to sue and you just do what he wants and shut up. Yeah, well, you're not going to pay my lawyer bills if this guy, because some of the people that Corey Good sued, they spent like $50,000, even though it was a total bullshit case. You got to pay the lawyers,
Well, actually, if you're stating facts and you have the receipts and all that, right?
Oh, I do.
No, I believe you do. There are anti-slap laws, when people want to sue you, and then what happens is
they dismiss
get
it.
Slapped down by the judge, and then they end up having to pay all your legal fees. And
but I still don't want to put it out. But the good news is that after this week, I will feel very good with the protections that I have in place. First of all, Pennsylvania is an anti-slap state, so most frivolous lawsuits like he's claiming he's going to bring would get slapped down, like you said. And then the other issue is that Pennsylvania has an insanely tough journalist shield law, which means I never have to reveal my sources of anything. Anything I say, I can just attribute it to a source. If I have to go to court, I'm not revealing the source. They can't do anything about it. You can't prove that somebody didn't tell me that information, that I repeated from a source. The third protection that I have in place is that, I have an LLC. He can't sue me. He's got to sue my company, and my company has like $200 in that bank account. So good luck recovering any damages. Then on top of this, we will have the media insurance in place after this week. He can fight with them. I'm not going to fight with him. I'm just going to,
It'll be a mistake, because it'll turn into, what was that called? The Streisand effect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think he knows. Like, he's on a live stream saying Stephen Campion got me swatted. He got me swatted. He got me swatted. So then I got the body cam footage and we showed everybody what really happened. He didn't get swatted. Somebody knocked on his door. Swatting is guys with long guns kicking your door in and shit. That didn't happen. Yeah. And then in the phone call, he tells her, I'm afraid that next he's going to try to get me swatted or something. So which is it? Did I get you swatted, or you're just afraid I was going to get you swatted? But the whole thing is, these fake lawsuit threats, these are just posturing. He's desperate to keep his grift going. And I'm ripping that Stevati Aerospace. Did you know this? His Stevati Aerospace, their only income is from a garbage dumpster company that is storing garbage dumpsters on that property.
Is that the one that was upstate New York?
Yeah, that's their only income, is from a garbage dumpster company. And we found that thanks to a researcher named Christian Spadavaccia, who shared the court documents, where they admitted in court documents, we don't have any income from aircraft products. Our only income is from this garbage dumpster company that pay us a few $1,000s a month to store these garbage dumpsters. And meanwhile, David Wilcock is telling everybody that they're getting people that are investing billions of dollars into Stevati so that they can build free energy hover cars. Shit, it's so stupid. It's just in line with all this other nonsense,
Yeah, that dude, I don't like. I heard a lot of you. I watched a lot of your videos on him, and
you got to admit, it's a form of entertainment covering him and like saying how fake it is and how stupid he is. We're talking about a guy who claimed that aliens killed him and then essayed him, like they molested him, and then they ate him, and then they killed him, and then they brought him back to life. And this is what he's telling people. That and the Archangel Michael, who he's in contact with, said that he should take baths in his own piss to get superpowers. It's just so stupid and so ridiculous that you wonder, how does he have such a huge following? And then you realize they're all like literally must be mentally ill or really, really dumb as shit. That's the only way.
I'm left speechless because I've seen him. I watched him after you started bringing him up a lot. I decided to go try to look at one of his videos.
He is killing Dell.
And my jaw was on the floor because I'm like, this dude's crazy. Like that. That's what he seems like to me. But and again,
yeah, that's another thing. We're talking. Aaron Flores says we're talking about a guy that calls 911 to change his smoke detector batteries. We got that phone call, and he's like arguing with the girl on the phone, Ron. She's like, yeah, we don't usually help people with that. You got to call like a handyman. And he's like, no,
are you serious?
The fire department always changes my smoke detector batteries. And it's a real problem because it's too high up. And I need somebody with a ladder to come here right away. And it's driving me crazy. They won't stop beeping and all this. That's so funny.
Why don't he get Archangel Michael to fly up and get it for him?
I know, you would think so, right? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But what I was trying to say is, what I was trying to say too is that, yeah, this has a chill. He wanted to have a chilling effect on free speech, and congratulations, he did shut me up for like a month. But I'm going to have every protection in place. I'm not stopping. And there's so much great new stuff, Ron. Like, did you know that his ex-wife was doing porn videos with cucumbers?
No.
Yeah. And guess who's got all the videos?
I want to see them.
I'll send you some links. I didn't believe somebody sent it to me, and it's like her being a tantric master. It's not her actually doing anything. She just holds up the cucumber and she talks about it. And then she gives the cucumber to this girl and tells her to peel it, but just leave a handle. And then the girl in the video is on the bed, and it's supposed to be very cleansing and good for the JJ.
Just remember this. It's not defamation if it's true.
Oh, sure.
If you got that like that, it's only defamation when you don't know if it's true or not. And you're just truly calling somebody a liar.
And they have to prove that you knew what you said was false, and that you did it with reckless disregard and malice. I've already talked to several attorneys about this whole situation, and most of them told me he's not going to do anything. And even if he does, it's not going to work out too well for him. It's just so stupid that I have to stop one of the most popular parts of my show. And don't ask me why. I know why it's popular. It's popular because it's funny, because this guy is so goddamn ridiculous, Ron. He is just so goddamn ridiculous. Like telling people. Oh, and the latest is that he just told everybody. He just told everybody that he no longer believes Corey Good. So he wasted 5 years of his life selling Corey Good stories, and now he's telling his followers Corey Good probably lied, and his information is not accurate anymore. So he can't get behind that,
How convenient.
Yeah. Oh, I was trying to find a video. Too bad this one is too low res. You know what I hate, Ron, when somebody texts me a video and then you go, oh, I need to get that to my PC, and then you do, and it's like total shit garbage quality, and it's unusable.
You know what happens a lot? I notice if somebody first of all, I hate texting. If you're gonna send somebody a video, send it through WhatsApp, because if you have iPhone and you send it to somebody who has an Android, the compression they do, it just gets blurry. Now, if you send iPhone to iPhone, usually it stays nice and clear, or Android to Android. Send it through WhatsApp, because they just upped it, and you could, but sometimes they do send you crap.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I can't
480 by 480.
Yeah, this one's even worse. I think it's like 240 or something. Oh. But somebody made me a video talk with David Wilcock with the AI voice and animated it to say I better stop threatening Steve Cambion and all this stuff. It's pretty funny. But we're gonna we're going to have a big update soon on the whole David Wilcock saga because I have laid off while I got proper protections in place. I'm not going to risking. Oh, wait a minute. I think I found it. 1 second here. Oh, yeah, this
I
is
don't know
great.
why I keep freezing up. I don't know why that keeps happening.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's a little distracting.
It happens to be on StreamYard all the time. I don't know why.
Oh, let's take a look at this. We'll give everybody a preview of the new David Wilcock coverage that we'll be doing. This comes to me courtesy of a friend. It's pretty good.
So somebody is talking about Steven, and he is not going to be sure I've been bullshitting for a few weeks now to try and make money off your sympathy. I promise that's what happened, and there's not much more than that to it. And every time he does another video, he just proves my lies and makes it easier for him to win. So he's really better off not being quiet because I'm a piece of shit liar, and he's addicted to informing everyone of the truth. And I understand, so whatever. We can't go after Steven. The whole company's agreed on it, and he thinks I'm going to go to jail for scamming everyone, and he's probably correct. I've already told Steven the truth in private. And now everybody is fully committed to jamming me up because I'm a piece of shit that abused my dog, and I scammed the UFO community so bad.
Another one bites the dust. And another one bites the dust.
And by the way, I just want to put on the record that this is a comedic parody. And the last time that I checked in the United States of America, comedic parodies are still legal. You're still allowed to make comedic parodies. So there's nothing.
Yeah, as long as you stated a market, that's all
It's a
that
comedic parody. It's a joke of David Wilcock finally telling the truth to his audience. It's a joke.
That guy's still around, huh? Doing his thing.
You know what's so funny is he was crying that he's only making $10,000 a month on YouTube, and that's his only income right now, Ron. He's having a real hard time only making $10,000 a month. And right now he's on a luxury vacation in Canada, renting cabins that we checked and we know cost like $1,000 a night.
10,000 a month. Now that's not super duper buku bucks, but I know a lot of. I wouldn't mind 10,000 a month.
Well, yeah, but his problem is that he lives in a multi-million-dollar, 4,000 square foot mansion or somewhere around that by himself. Well, if you live by yourself, you don't need a 4,000 square foot mansion, dude. Maybe downsize and you wouldn't have money problems, right? But in an act of karma, I think, see what happened, Ron, is that he invested a lot of his money. Some people say all of his money, millions, into this Stevati Aerospace, but they're being sued by other creditors that gave them like $1 million, or I'm sorry, other investors. And at least one investor sued them for the $1 million he gave them back, and he called them in the court documents a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam. So I think what happened, and this is just speculation, is that Wilcock dumped a lot of money into that company, and he can't admit to himself that that company is complete, total garbage.
He got scammed.
Essentially, allegedly, perhaps. Yeah. It was 2 years ago that he said they were going to have a working, 3 years ago, I think maybe even, that he said they were going to have a working hover car prototype in a year.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He's still saying, well, as soon as we get financed and somebody's investing $5 billion into our company, and I have some helpers now. This person, Macario, is great. He clipped together like a 10-minute video that goes back 3 years of David Wilcock saying, we're getting investments. The investors are going to be done, I think, next Tuesday, and then we're going to get started on all of our plans. And then it goes through chronologically back to 2018 or I'm sorry, 2022, all the times he said that the company is getting funded. It's hysterical. And then we have a compilation video of all the times he promised that the mass arrests are happening, right? We have a compilation video. He said that like over and over again.
When is that supposed to happen?
Well, lately it's supposed to happen before November now, he says. But he has said it did already happen, or it was going to happen like 20 times in the past couple of years. The mass arrests and the 3 days of darkness, your internet goes down, your phone only works for 911. And
I'll tell you, because I'm pretty sure he watches your channel because he's whatever wants to try to.
oh yeah, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm driving him fucking bonkers because here's what I do. I don't ever title a show about Wilcock. And you know I do long streams. In fact, Ron warned me. He's like, I can't do 4 hours. So I said, we'll keep it like an hour and a half, which we're coming up on. I am doing long streams, and somewhere in there, I give everybody a Wilcock update. So this loser has to listen to me for hours and hours and hours just to see what I said about him this week, Ron. I'm trying to drive him bonkers.
I give you some advice, Mr. Wilcock. If you're making money and everything, just forget about all the noise and everything else. Forget about the Cambians and just continue doing what you're doing.
But that's the problem. We're cutting into it. We're killing his income because people are waking up. Like this dude spent 5 years telling everybody secret space stories with Corey. And then we got those depositions that proved Corey just made it all up. So
that was devastating.
Yeah, it was devastating to both of them. Because there's still people in his live chat. Like, what about Corey? What about Corey? Why don't you explain this? Why did Corey say he didn't go to space? And you spent all this time selling us the Corey narratives, you know? So people are starting to wake up. And, you know, it was his policy. Somebody that knew him very well said, whatever you're doing is really affecting him because he has never, ever commented on any of this shit. And now he is like, commenting a lot. He spent hours of one live stream just attacking me. You know what he did, Ron? He showed everybody, he told everybody that I was a Luciferian or a Satan worshiper, an open, he said something like I'm a proud open Satanist. Do you know what his evidence that I'm a Satanist was? He showed people the UFO Lucifer and me in the UFO Lucifer mask. And that's his evidence that I'm a Satan worshiper. That I wore a devil mask on my show for a bit.
Well,
that's his
he's
evidence.
a moron.
Oh, he's a moron. He's definitely a moron.
You know, I knew that from
Helmet
Ancient
says
Alien.
you got inside his head big time. Yeah, I'm living there rent free. And I got to tell him, if he is watching, buckle up because you called me, David Wilcock, you told everybody that I was a Satan worshiper and a child predator. I have a wife and children. How dare you do that to me? And I needed to get my ducks in a row. I needed to get my ducks in a row, but I am gonna redouble my efforts after I get them. Everything is in place. I got a massive update coming that I think is going to be devastating. So I'm hoping to get that out before his vacation is over because, you know, I owe him one. So he ruined my week because I was walking around going, I can't believe this guy's telling like 50,000 people this stuff, you know, however many views he gets. So, you know, I kind of owe him one for trying to muzzle me and stifle my free speech and spreading completely false rumors and claims about me, which certainly aren't true. And, you know, I volunteer for children's charity. I can't have some jerk off on the internet saying those things about me.
Because you know how that works. That lives on the internet
forever.
Things get transcribed, and when people start doing searches, you could come up in those searches because of an idiotic statement by an idiot.
Yeah,
You know?
Soil Alpin says, "Call me that to my face." I got to tell you, Soil Alpin and Ron, you know this. I grew up on the mean streets of Philadelphia. I'm glad he didn't do it to my face because. You know where I'm from. You say that about somebody, you're taking a huge risk. You know, we throw fists pretty quickly.
I grew
and easily.
up fighting in Bushwick, Brooklyn, when I grew up like that. So I knew all about that. And
yeah, I don't know though. I have a wife and children now. I'm much more reserved and calm. In my younger years, if somebody had done that to me, I would have caught a case. I would have caught a case. I'll tell you right now, I would have caught a case because I wouldn't have cared. Like, no, respect is big where I'm from. And if you disrespect somebody to that level, to say that, like, that's the worst thing you could say about a man, especially a family with wife and children of his own, you know? Yeah. It's just crazy. But I guess I appreciate you coming here. We busted this James Webb grift. I want to talk to you off air about getting some of those feeds that you are getting, because
Oh, I'll send them all to you, and you
I
can
would
share them
love
with
it.
the people and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
because I put in the I didn't put a link, but I put the name of the one where I was pulling up a Rhine and all that stuff.
yeah. If you send me the link, I'll put it in the description of the video because I'm sure some of my audience will want to give it a try.
They'll love it because it's not just Hubble and it's all of them. It even has old ones from Tess. There's so many in there. It's beautiful. And the other thing, the Webb Telescope, Space Telescope Live, that lets you watch Hubble. It's not real time like to the second, because remember, it has to travel back, but it's as live as it gets, that and for the Webb. And then you'll see when you're looking at these, like, yeah, how are they seeing things moving if this is what the scientists are seeing?
Yeah, they see, here's the problem. Amateurs that aren't experts on things making up fake stories, they're easy to catch because they don't even know that about the Webb telescope. They can't really track moving objects, right?
But I would never just get online and start spitting stuff off the top of my head and then turn on and watch a video of them saying, hey, Ron's an idiot because this and this and that. Like, how do you not look like vet stuff?
More people like the fantasy though, so that proliferates, and the true part of the story gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, let me ask you a question. Right. Speaking of all the grifter stuff, so it makes me think of Elizondo, right? Did you see that thing where he was being interviewed? I don't know by who, and his buddy was supposed to be somewhere else.
Yeah, we have a clip of it.
And then Elizondo goes, he has to
he
go
goes
to
running through the mirror. Yeah. Yeah, he can't even tell the truth about where he's at. They pretended that they were in two different places. They were, and that was on theories of everything.
With a Rolex on.
Yes. And I pointed that out, and that was a very controversial tweet of mine. People were arguing with me. That doesn't mean anything. The guy said that he did all this for free, and he's wearing a Rolex. It turns out, apparently, allegedly, it was a gift from his father, whatever. Still, somebody crying poor while they're wearing a $10,000 watch is funny to me. It's just like Jeremy Corbell showing up at a UFO convention in a brand new Cybertruck and saying he doesn't make any money from this.
What's that, like $100,000?
I think it's more than that. I think they're 150, 170, maybe. I don't know. That's way out of my price league, Ron. So I don't even know how much it is, because you know that old saying: if you need to ask how much it is, you can't afford it. I don't know how much they are, because that is so beyond the realm of my possibilities. I would love to have one of those. I think that's a cool vehicle, and it's 4-wheel drive.
I can't even afford a charger,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hopeful though, because I don't know if this is weird to anybody. It's weird to me. But do you know the recent SpaceX missions, like the recent one that they did? I tweet very positive, encouraging. I reply to his tweets like that. Like I replied something like, good luck and Godspeed to all involved. And then Elon Musk started liking some of my replies. And I was like, wow, that's bizarre. The richest man in the world is liking my replies. But then I realized, he goes down the line, and anybody that says something positive about his projects, he's going to like it at least. But that made me think maybe I could ask him for a free Cybertruck, right? I do think, let's end on a positive note. Elon Musk believes that we need to become a multiplanetary species because we may be the only light of consciousness in the universe, and therefore it's incredibly important to preserve humanity. I think he's going to get to Mars and Mars bases and moon bases before NASA, don't you?
Dude, with his SpaceX, they laughed at him and said it was impossible. Now he's all around the world. All the different countries are using SpaceX.
And they're using Starlink too. Yeah.
He's going to do it. He's going to get it done. He'll probably, before we're able to start living, sending people to start living in, colonizing it, I'll probably be in 40, 50 years. that's soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with him though, because you never know. Like, we could have a nuclear war on this country, in this world, and just destroy the whole planet. We have to be a multiplanetary species, and Mars is the closest thing we have to habitable. It might be able to be terraformed in a couple hundred years, or.
Well, the thing is this, like you said, there's to me, there's three things that can happen. One is under people's controls, nuclear weapons, but there's two that aren't, that you can't do nothing about. One is like getting hit with an object, a comet or asteroid.
Asteroid, yeah.
There's nothing you're going to do about that, right? And the solar, like the solar storms and everything. But right now with the magnetic field, and we'll leave it on a positive note. I'll leave it at that. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, but you're right. There's many dangers that could be apocalyptic and earth destroying.
You know how close in 2029 Apophis?
I know. I saw that. I saw some animations, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Under
Is that close?
19,000 miles. Our geostationary satellites are 23,000 miles up. This is coming in at 19,000, maybe a little bit closer. And the thing is over 1,200 feet in diameter.
Yeah, that's a planet killer if it did hit us, don't you think?
That would be a major problem. Yeah, that could. That could be a bummer.
And this, Ron, is why I have an apocalypse cabin, and I'm building a new one too. I'm going to have 2 apocalypse cabins just in case, right? Well, I appreciate you coming here, and it was good to catch up with you. And we're gonna have you come back, because I would like to have a resident space expert. When these things pop up, it's good to have somebody like you, so I know. I don't want to do a trust me, bro. Trust me, this story's fake. We didn't do that tonight. We kind of went through. Here's all the reasons, and you did a great job. I really appreciate it. Set the record straight.
My pleasure, and it's always good seeing you, bro, and everybody too.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody.
All right. We'll throw you out of here. I'll do a quick wrap up. You have a good evening. Thank you.
I'll send you the links. All right.
Yes. I'll put them in the description. Thank you, Ron from Cosmic Neighbors. All right, friends. What a good conversation and a fun show. I've been reminding myself lately, and I want to put something Peter Albritton says, not a planet killer, but would take out a lot of real estate. Let's get to some business. We had 2 kind and generous benefactors today. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. Rotary Motion with a kind and generous £2 says, just a flying visit, dude. Keep outing these douches. We will do that. And thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. We very much appreciate you helping us to praise the cash. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Oh, I forgot. I have to fix that bumper. It's a little bit too loud. And also, for those unaware, if you become a YouTube channel member during the live broadcast, we thank you and give you a big shout out. So big shout out to Dinky Kicks, who just became a YouTube channel member. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. And I won't play that bumper. We'll stick with our cash clown. Thank you, Dinky Kicks. You can now get all those extra goodies. There's a whole members section with extra videos for members only. And just to be clear, it's the same membership benefits that you get by being a Patreon supporter for as little as $1 a month. The YouTube channel membership is $5, but you get that nice YouTube channel member badge, letting everybody know you're a big supporter of the show. Thank you, Dinky Kicks, for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. Anybody else feeling generous? We'll be wrapping up the broadcast, so please do get those PayPal pledges. Buy me a coffee. I forgot the MVP of buying me a coffee. Mike Larry is at it again. And for those unaware, Mike Larry used to buy a lot of YouTube memberships. We had hundreds of them. But he realized that YouTube takes 30%. Buy me a coffee, it's only a couple of percent. Same for PayPal. So we appreciate all of you kind and generous benefactors. But if you're going to send a large amount, please do it through Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal. This way we keep more of it to continue doing this work. We also thank every single person who sends a PayPal pledge. We got a kind and generous $5 PayPal pledge from David B. And it just says, David, from David B. Thanks for the show, Stephen. So we thank David B. for his kindness, generosity, and support. Much, much appreciated. Helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. And we've got one more from Nemesis Bex, who is also the MVP of Super Thanks. But I think Nemesis Bex has been sending more on the PayPal side, so we keep more of it. And Nemesis Bex, I think we addressed your concerns. Nemesis Bex sent a kind and generous, looks like $9.55 PayPal pledge. By the way, instructions for how to do that are in the description of this video or podcast. Just be sure to add a note and give us your chat room user ID. I think you probably don't want me reading your real name. So add a note if you send a PayPal pledge. And Nemesis Bex did that and says, I know Wilcock drives you nuts, but please never stop covering him. We love the wacky world of Wilcock. Laugh out loud. Thanks, Stephen. Oh, it was $10. I'm sorry. $10 PayPal pledge. And I think we explained what's going on tonight. I'm sorry if I've been silent about that. I thought I'll call a couple insurance companies. I'll get this insurance in place. And I'll be back covering Wilcock in a couple of days. Turns out there's a lot of paperwork, but we thank you, Nemesis Bex.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. We'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. Cosmic Neighbors is in the live chat saying good night. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're going to bring him in to be our resident space expert because he's just a wealth of knowledge. And I forgot to we're going to give a big praise to Cash. I forgot. Thank you. Thanks, Mike Larry. I think more money to Stephen is the way to go. Yeah, more money to me is the way to go. But we want to take a moment to thank the MVP of Buy Me a Coffee, and that certainly would be Mike Larry. He's been sending hundreds of dollars, and we truly appreciate it. I will be making a video for members and Patreon supporters, and then I will release it onto the public channel here. But for a long time now, I've been struggling to complete this alternate set, which is right in front of me, actually. That has 2 chairs, 2 microphones. We got it. We got it now. I get to put up a backdrop and fix the camera position. But I'm happy to say that we will finally be doing in-studio real live guests here. We've already booked a few for October. And the way those shows will work is essentially we're having experiencers, at least to start off. The in-person guests will be people with strange experiences. They want to share their story, and they're going to come here and they're going to share their strange or unusual or paranormal story. And then we're going to hook them up to a polygraph machine that's sitting right here. So there's a big, nice, comfy chair and a laptop and a little table so I can administer the polygraph. And we're going to do those live and give you the results of the polygraph. So we'll be able to hear somebody's story, and then hopefully we'll be able to tell if they're lying or not right on the live show. And it will not always be my policy that if you're going to be an in-studio guest, you need to agree to the polygraph. Maybe some people won't want to do that, or we won't be really questioning somebody if they're just talking about something like, I don't know, spirituality or religion. You know, we're not going to polygraph everybody that comes in here, but I happen to have a polygraph machine and all the sensors and all the software. Aaron Flores says he'll do it. There you go. Aaron, are you local to me? Are you anywhere near Pennsylvania? I forget. I apologize. There's too many people. I think you are. Yeah, email me. I'd be happy to talk to you. I want to put a focus on trying to get as many in-person interviews as possible. Because one thing I've noticed, and you may have noticed it too, every podcast that the host and the guest are in the same room gets 100 or thousands of times more listens and views than people who do everything virtually. I don't know why that is. It's perplexing, but we want to see if that will work for us, and it's worth trying. And Aaron Flores, I'd be happy to talk to you here about all things science, your experiences, whatever you're interesting. Longtime show supporter. Oh, back to Mike Larry. I apologize. So thanks to Mike Larry, we're getting some shit done here. And thanks to our other mysterious benefactor, who, by the way, I have to find their message. We had the largest single PayPal pledge that we've ever had. I don't know that I want to share how much it is, but it's a huge one. 1 second. Now I'm trying to find it. 1 second. Please just bear with me, friends, because I definitely have to find this one. Oh, I did. It appears that oh no, I don't have the note. All right, well, I'm going to have to get with them because apparently they sent a message that they wanted me to read for this huge PayPal pledge, but I don't have it in the PayPal, so I'm going to have to find it in my email, and I don't want to hold up the show. So tomorrow night I will read that one off. But we want to thank our, we're calling him the MB, mysterious benefactor, who sent the huge, huge PayPal pledge. And apparently sent me a message, but I have to locate it. But the message was essentially thanking us doing the show here for sort of waking them up. But I want to read the actual message. And then we want to thank Mike Larry, the MVP of Praising the Cash over at Buy Me a Coffee, for he sends hundreds of dollars. I'm so blown away by the generosity of everybody. And we want to thank you too, even our Patreon supporters throwing $1 a month. Brother, can you spare $1? We appreciate all of you Patreon supporters, you Twitch subscribers, people buying me a coffee, the PayPal pledgers, YouTube channel members, and you super chatters. We appreciate all of you. Thanks to all of you for helping us to praise.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. So I think we've got taken care of all of our business except for that message, which I definitely want to read. No, troll. It wasn't 5,000 Argentine pesos. It was much, much more than that. It is the single biggest pledge or support that anybody has sent in the entire history of our show. Very, very generous of MB, who I believe wants to remain anonymous, our mysterious benefactor. We appreciate him so much. I bet the government told him that they could fine him $1 trillion if he lost a rocket up there. Yeah, you know Elon Musk is doing great because the government is starting to mess with him, right? Of course, I think that might be because of his political beliefs. Psychopaths can beat it, and there are other tricks also. They're not permitted as evidence in a court of law. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but I've been doing some tests, William Runner, and I find it to be pretty accurate so far. I'm going to be hooking my son up to it as well. Our little cash clown offered to help me check, right? Yeah, Soil Alpin says, brilliant. Respect. Cash is hard to come by unless you're bathing in pee. Yeah, absolutely. He's never gotten past the space station. Yeah, Jason Parker, but baby steps. Oh, yeah, he has. Isn't the recent flight, it was the furthest out into space that any crew has been since the Apollo mission. So he has gotten past the space station. Of course, I have to fact check myself on that. I'm not entirely sure, Jason Parker, but I think he went further than the space station in that latest flight. All right, so I think we've done our due diligence. My goal tonight was to just dispel these stupid rumors. And, you know, it's no surprise to me that it's the same old bunch of grifters that are always grifting, selling this unverified story. And, you know, the shows that are entertaining this nonsense, like this garbage peddling vetted show, they could have done what we did and consult a space expert who could have told them, just like Ron said, this story is completely and totally fake for these reasons. Also, they should be able to show us the data. It's all on public websites. Oh, no, it's classified. There's a cover-up. Sure. They always have some mental gymnastic plot device in order to cover for their fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery. But it is what it is, and this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. Me, I don't know. I've become very cynical and very suspicious of anybody promoting these things because, history proves that most of them are lying, grifting scumbags that are just here for money. If they weren't, it wouldn't be so obvious to everybody, just look at it. Look at the situation. And I wanted to go look up that show that is really pushing this and see just how much money he's made. Is he going to do a retraction now that we've corrected the record for him and shown how this story is fake and why? Is he going to apologize to his audience for essentially promoting fake shit for cash? No, because he's a grifting scumbag. And that's the way it is, friends. So I think we've done our due diligence. I will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Also, wanted to put on the record that I have been very distracted from the show by the summer months, and I'm trying to get out of that because my summer's slacking off in order to spend more time with my family and cabin time and fishing time and hiking time and boating time and lake time and pool time. I don't know how, but my summer slack has started to extend into the fall slack, and I'm meant to hit the ground running. I've got a lot of shows and things scheduled or planned, but not run yet. A lot of research to present, a lot of great stories to bring you. But I just didn't hit the ground running in the fall. I kind of slacked. I'll just do 2 shows this week. It's difficult to keep coming up with new material. And, I'm trying to catch up on some of my honey-do list. If you're a married man, mama always needs something. But I've kind of run out of excuses for slacking off here. So I want to tell you that I'm recommitting myself to 3 or 4 shows a week. This week there should be 3. I wanted there to be 4, but we had a guest cancel on yesterday. The next 2 shows are pretty much solo, I believe, unless I get a guest that can contribute. So we'll definitely be doing a show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No place I would rather be, and I hope you'll be here with me. So, friends, that's all I got for you. Until next time, my name is Stephen Campion. Good night, and God bless all of you.